So part of the Artisan Pro panel that I use for my black and whites has the zone system. If you're not familiar with the zone system, it's what Ansel Adams created to do his work. I'm not going to go through the background or the history or the specifics of it. That's all over the internet. You can look that up yourself. On the Artisan Pro panel, when I open it up here, if you go to adjustments, you can see them. Advanced adjustments, micro-zone, multi-zone. You can see the multi-zone has darks, mids, lights, but the micro-zone has all these zones. So zone 0, 1, 2, 3, all the way to zone 10. So it's an 11 zone system, and you can see L0 to L23 is zone 0, L24 to L46 is zone 1. It is a very powerful tool. I don't use it that often, unless I'm doing like macro black and white photography. It works awesome for that. I just haven't really come across a use for it in my architecture or my grand landscape black and white images. So today I want to go over the usefulness. Is that a word? Usefulness? The way I use this in a macro style image. So this is a image I took quite a few years ago. We have some flower fields around where I live. Some people just plant these flowers, and so we just kind of wander around the neighborhoods with my macro lens and shoot the macros as we're just walking around. So as a normal start, you do a neutral conversion. So neutral black and white. And if I go up to the little info button, and if you just choose any little, like I think this is, some of you just go like the lasso tool. And as I scroll around, you can see up here the info RGB that is changing. And so that gives you your information about the zone that you're looking to use. So to get started, the first thing I would like to do is actually just kind of get an overall darker tone to this image. What I did was I just went to Tools, Luminosity Masks, and let's create a couple masks. Let's go to half darks, and we'll see. Let's see, 1.5. I think 1.5 looks pretty good. Go with that. Darks 2.5. Yeah, I think I like darks 2.5. Go with that. Let's delete those. Let's go to our lights. Actually, yeah, let's do half lights. Again, this is just a guessing game on which ones you want to use. Let's go lights 2.5. Lights 3.5, because that's very isolated. So go with that. Okay, so let's leave those, and that'll just be our starting point for this image. So let's go ahead and create a copy of the neutral. So we always have the neutral unedited. Go to selection, just kind of typical of what I normally do. We'll go darks 1.5, select, and then we'll go to pro adjustments. Then we'll just start hitting the darken button, just to start bringing in some contrast into the image. I think that looks pretty good. You can see we have some really dark areas here, but overall the contrast has improved. I think it looks a lot better. So go ahead and deselect that. But what I want to do is kind of highlight this area here around the center of the flower. And what I want to do that is the zone system. So let's go to adjustments now that we're on the zone. So we'll go back up to our info button. We're going to be on the lasso tool because we want to select the area we want to edit. So we come up here because I want to bring out the little highlights in the flower petals here. So we have, look up to the like 138, 157, 152. So we'll find a zone that's somewhere around there. And so let's scroll down, 160. So the light mid-tones, 139 to 161. Because as you remember, as you go back to the info, because we're looking at the highlight section, it fits in within that area. So we'll choose the zone, come back down, the zone 6, then we hit activate. And now we've activated that area. So I want to take my lasso tool, and I just want to just kind of make a little selection here. Come out around this petal and just kind of a general. We'll just go up and around these ones like that. Now I want to feather this edge so there's not a hard edge. So we'll feather, we'll do 30 pixels, that's good enough. And now you just start hitting the darken and lighten. So we have the default, and that just kind of does everything in the area. So if I hit lighten, you can see the kind of the whole area got lighter. So let's delete that. But if you hit the strict adjustments, then it mostly only targets within the areas that you want. So let's just keep highlighting those, and it adds a new layer each time. So we'll do another one. You can see it's really bringing out the highlights in those petals, and it's separating the dark from the lights. So I think that looks pretty good. So we're going to deselect that. And you can see by feathering, there's no hard edge, right? It's a nice soft feathered edge. And the one thing I've noticed as I'm doing more of this, I am really starting to see sensor dust everywhere. So basically, unless I want to spend a couple hours trying to go through all my sensor dust, so it's most likely an image that's not going to end up on my website. I'm just showing you how the zone system works. So now I want to darken the darker areas. And the reason I like using the zone system for this is when you just use a luminosity mask like these, you're kind of doing the whole image, unless you want to go through and like kind of brush out the areas you don't want. This allows you to just target the area you want by making a selection of that single area. Okay, so let's deactivate the light midtones just by hitting the deactivate button. Back to the info. Now, because I want the dark areas, so this is 64, 60, 59, 61. So we're looking for a zone in that area. So I think this light shadows, L47 to L69, I think that one works. So we'll hit activate. Now we're activated. Now let's make our selection. Kind of come down around this area, but then we want to kind of pop up and go around this area here, because this is the area we want to darken, just kind of the one corner of this image, something like that. We'll go up to select, modify, feather, 30 pixels, and now we'll just start hitting the darken button. So we're darkening those areas, but you can see we're not touching the highlighted areas that we just changed. And so this is kind of giving a real kind of dark area around the center of the flower. Go one more. So something about like that. So let's merge all these down. Command D for deselect. Now you can see the difference it made in just that one little area. It made all the difference in the world. You know, from this to that where we just kind of darkened all the darker areas, to this where we've highlighted the center of the flower. As you can see, the more I did, the more sensor dust is coming out. Apparently, it was a really bad day for the sensor. Like I said, this image was a couple years old now, so that's pretty bad. And then we can go ahead and, like, one thing I really want to do, if I go back to my lasso tool, I just don't like this area up here. Actually, that's a little too much. Deselect that. It's just distracting up in this area. Shift delete, content aware fill. There we go. Perfect. Now we kind of got rid of that. Not perfect, but it's close enough. But with that, let's make another copy. We can do the same thing in this area. So let's deactivate the selection because I don't know what zone this is yet. So we come over, oh, it's pretty much the same zone. So that works. So come back, hit activate again. And now let's just draw kind of like this area here. Stay out of, come up and around. Okay, select, modify, feather, 30 pixels. And we go ahead and start darkening area here. That's looking a little better. You know, it's just adding just a little bit more contrast to just specific areas. I think that looks pretty good. Let's deselect, let's merge these down. Yep, that looks really good. Just darken some of, actually, let's go ahead and highlight, make some of the highlights just in the very center of this flower. So we'll go info, then we'll kind of come in, where are we at? Oh, this is kind of, what's this one here? Kind of 120, 112, 135, over 131, 167, 150. Okay, so we'll find something kind of in that area. Come over to the Artisan Pro. Let's deactivate our light shadows. And we'll go with the Zone 5 midtones, activate. And then now we can just circle this area here so that we can bring in some more highlights of the center. Go to select, modify, feather, 30 pixels. Now I'll lighten, and to just kind of bring out the highlights of the center. I think that looks pretty good. Deselect. And again, because we feathered it by 30 pixels, there's no hard edge right there. And you know, unless you knew it was there, you wouldn't even see kind of that slight edge there. I'll just kind of darken just this area. I want to leave this area kind of light, and I'll darken kind of the areas around it. So deactivate, info, there we go. And what are these here? Oh, kind of the same zone. So we'll go, what was that? The light shadows. Yep, zone 2. Activate. Then we'll circle this petal here. Let's go ahead and come all the way out and around. Don't want to do this one. Just that area there. Select, modify, feather, 30 pixels. Okay. Then we'll just darken this. And you can see just how much better this image is starting to look. Let's do one more. I think that looks pretty good. Let's deselect that. I think we'll do the same for up here. Let's go ahead and just kind of zip around. It's a little selection tool. Oh, that's too far. Let's go back out. Let's just kind of catch this area up and around. Let's try that again. We'll just kind of zip over these and then come up from here. Come all the way over. Select, modify, feather. 30 pixels. Let's darken this down. And that is looking much better. Okay, let's deselect. Let's merge all these down. Let's see, merge. So yeah, that is looking much better. Yeah, because we've kind of highlighted this. We've brought the detail or the contrast down in the edges and the corners without affecting the areas we don't want. And I've managed to bring out a whole bunch of center dust, which I'm not going to worry about on this image. So that's just a quick introduction how the zone system works in the Artisan Pro panel. Like I said, I don't use it that often because architectural photography, I just don't really need it. I can get away with luminosity masks and hard masks, but when you're doing macro photography, it works really well. So I'm not affiliated with bwvision.com, which is who makes the Artisan Pro and the Quick Mask Pro. This is stuff I bought on my own. It transforms your black and white editing. It is just an amazing program. I highly recommend purchasing. I think you can get them as a pair, and then he's got some new ones as well, kind of some smaller versions, I guess. They don't quite do as much, but just, so go on their website, bwvision.com, and check it out. See if it's something that would work well for you. Anyway, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.